Banfield is a new show on the NewsNation Network airing in prime time. Take a look.
The world is a noisy place. People talk at each other and over each other, but nobody talks to each other. It gets us angry and it makes us cynical, and we don't learn or grow. I want to change that. So every night, we're going to sit down with America's top newsmakers and biggest celebrities, and I'm going to show you what happens when we have a conversation, when we actually communicate. So let's talk.
And joining us from Connecticut is Ashleigh Banfield, the host of Banfield on NewsNation. Ashleigh, thanks for being here. You've had your show for about a month now. Tell me what makes Banfield different than other shows that occupy this hour in cable news.
You know, Jackson, I think it's that other cable news shows right now give their guests about 5 to 8 minutes. So if you're going to be a guest, you better get your message out quick. But if you're going to be on my program, it's conversation. It's the same thing you would do over dinner or drinks, and oftentimes we actually do that. We have a cocktail hour or a Pepsi hour. In the case of William Shatner, he wanted to eat sushi during his interview. So I think that's what's different. It's very relaxed. We are very attuned to music, and we tailor the music to really fit the guest. And then we just stop down and talk, and we don't try to just fry a million bullet points, and squash it into a sausage casing.
Yeah, I hear that. I like music. What can we expect to see? Do you have any exciting new interviews coming up or guests on the show? Tell us a little bit more.
You know, there's a couple in Hollywood that I really admire. And it's the Hanks couple. And so, I've been a big fan of theirs. The wife, yes, the husband, hopefully coming up as well. And so the reason I really like them is because they've had this extraordinarily long marriage. And in Hollywood, that's sort of rare, very, very few people. The weird thing is, though, on my show, and it's complete happenstance, the people we've had on in the last 3 weeks, almost all of them, save for like William Shatner, who I think has been married like 4 times, and Tom Arnold, who's been married a bunch of times. Many of them have been married for over 30 years. And I don't know why all of a sudden they all, were congregating on the show, but I intend to ask Rita Wilson, what makes this remarkable union between you and Tom? What's your magic? And she herself is a phenomenal person. She's a very musical actress. She's got her own album. She's got her own career. She's famous in her own right. And that's a tricky household. So I'll be fascinated by that one.
That's really cool. I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. What do you think people are missing right now? They turn on the news, they get a bunch of BS essentially. What do you think people really want to see right now?
So I think it's a great question, Jackson. And I'll be honest with you. You're young, but in your entire lifetime, which is almost 2 decades, things have really changed in cable news. When you were just born, things weren't quite as loud and nasty, I'll be frank. Things certainly weren't as polarized. And as you have grown through your schooling, and then clearly you've become interested in broadcasting, I'm sad that your interest at this age is at a time when I'm least proud of what's happening in cable news. It's just, it's angry name calling and a lot of stereotyping of the other side, and very little attempt to understand the viewpoints of the other side. That's what we want to do differently. We want to offer viewers an opportunity to have a host or an anchor who's not going to chase the echo chamber celebration. We really want you to be informed. And I think viewers are exhausted by not being able to be informed when they watch a cable news show. They know they're going to a certain channel for a certain viewpoint and for a certain, hey, yeah, me too. But,
Yes.
but that's not us. We're very much the, no, this is what happened today. And then you can choose how you feel about it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's what a lot of people want to see. How excited are you to be at NewsNation? NewsNation has taken a different approach, as I mentioned earlier, to just providing facts. Are you thrilled to be there?
Yeah, I am. I think that this is a startup like anything. And so we're in the process of getting on the board, and we're moving towards a 24-hour model. Ask Ted Turner what that was like. People made fun of him. They called it chicken noodle news. Honestly, I mean, it was a big old joke. And then it wasn't, So I think whenever anything new comes along, the naysayers will have their fun, and we'll just quietly put our noses to the grindstone and do the job that we promised Americans we would do. And how sad is it that it's refreshing to just do the journalism job, like we should all be doing that. This shouldn't be special. But as it turns out, Jackson, it's special just to be committed to facts and facts alone and listen to both sides without attacking them.
How do you think your network can compete with ABC, Fox, HLN, which I know you were on for a while, in this very interesting time? I mean, NewsNation is brand new. How do you guys compete with everybody?
Sure. So here's the little secret. I've been on all of them. I mean, I worked for a Fox affiliate in Dallas, Texas. I worked on MSNBC. I worked at ABC on 2020 and Good Morning America. I worked at CNN. I worked at HLN. So I'm that secret weapon because I kind of get it. I know the inner workings of this business. I'm like, my career is double your age. It's crazy. 33 years I've been doing this. So I feel like I have a pretty good insight into the inner workings of how this sausage gets made everywhere. And so I'm taking the best pieces from all the places where I've worked, because I'll be honest with you, every one of them has stellar journalists working there, and every one of them has good systems in place. I just think over the last 20 years, the business model has dictated to a lot of networks, chase this direction, it's better for us. And that's not what we're going to do. We're going to chase the middle of the road. We're going straight down the center lane, and we're going to ask Americans to invite us into their living rooms or offices or their iPhones if they want to just be informed without being dictated to.
Yeah, I think the middle of the lane is what we need right now. What do you want people to know about your show, Banfield? It is new, of course. Maybe somebody's watching who hasn't heard of it. What would you tell them?
So it's deep dive for starters. We're not going to scratch the surface and just do bullet points and bumper stickers with our guests. We're actually going to dig down into who they are and what makes them tick. I mean, I think you at 17 are so lucky to be able to have so much media at your fingertips, and unlucky, not going to lie. But the world's your oyster, and you can find out so much about anything. But I also see media being very commercial and scraping just whatever the marketing pitch is of guests. But you can't do that for an hour. You can't just do you can't just sell your movie for an hour. You got to talk to me about what makes you tick, and what makes you an amazing actor or politician or thought provoker or thought leader or innovator or instigator. And so I like to call it the secret sauce of a successful person. How did they do it? Like, how did they get where you, Jackson, want to go? I know you want to be at the top of your field. So do I. I still do. There are people out there who hold the secrets because they've done it, and they may not even know themselves how they did it, but hopefully I can try to pull some of that out of them. And I think that's what you can expect from this show. That's where I'm going. I'm trying to figure out what makes these people as good as they are. But then also a little bit of fun, because I do want to break some taboos, like, having a couple of cocktails on the set. And I really am trying to imbue the show with sort of the DJ feel with the music choices. It's not accidental. Every single piece of music that you see coming in and out of each block is very specifically chosen for that guest.
The secret sauce, I like it. If you could interview anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
This may sound trite, but I do really honestly think a lot about Queen Elizabeth, and it's an interview that I don't think anyone's ever going to get, let alone me, hoofing it here in Connecticut. But I am a member of the Commonwealth, so I am prepared, and I know all the protocols to meet the Queen because my mom instilled them in me as a kid. But the reason I really like her, and I don't know if you at 17 will feel the same way about this, because you're just entering into a place in your life where you're going to come up against a lot of brick walls, not just the one behind you, but the ones in front of you. And you're going to have to put on that leather extra coating of skin and persevere, get through it, put your nose to the grindstone. Don't let the naysayers get you down, and do your job, right? And do it to the best of your ability. I think the Queen, from the age of 21, and brother, that's just 4 years from now for you. Just think about that. She took this role on just 4 years from your age. She's done it with aplomb. She's never wavered. She's never put family first. She's put duty and country first. Who among us would instantly sign up for that job? And who would keep it for the number of decades that she has? I mean, she's in her 90s, right? So she's done this for 7 decades. So that's a person I really want to learn from. I want to understand how you can stick with that kind of resilience, and not just for a short period of time, for your entire life.
That would be one heck of an interview. What do you say to people like myself, college students, just people in general like myself who are interested in the broadcast field? What would you say to them?
Well, for you, the advice is keep doing what you're doing, because clearly you're doing a really good job. I think that you are
Thank you.
persistent. You don't take no for an answer. You're delightful, which is also very nicely coupled with persistence, because persistence can be really annoying too. But it's often the hallmark of a great reporter and journalist. And so keep doing that. But then I'll add to that, for people who may be watching this who are somewhat like you, but aren't quite all the way there to your spot right yet. I say read a paper every day, and it doesn't have to be the physical one in your hands. Just read every day. If you don't have a whole lot of time, at least get the headlines, but be knowledgeable and build your foundation early, because your early foundation of knowledge will stay with you forever, and it will be very easy to add to it. If you try to build that foundation in, say, your late 20s or 30s, it's going to be a memory game, and that's real hard. And it won't stay with you forever. And then you'll struggle for recall. But if you're going to be a journalist, especially a live journalist, start now, and don't think it's useless or wasted. Also, don't say things like, math is dumb. Why am I going to need trigonometry when you do? And I'll tell you why. You're not going to be scribbling out, equations, but the synapses and the mental pathways that you build in your brain will be used in problem solving and instant navigation later in life. So don't ever besmirch any kind of learning. All of it will make you better than the rest. And then the other piece of advice that everybody can use, you included and me still, resilience. Keep working at the resilience. Don't let the bastards get you down. And I'm sorry to use that language, but I think it's necessary, because I think too many people fail because they let other people get to them. Don't let that happen. Just keep going. Believe in yourself. And it sounds like such a, Pollyanna kind of thing, but it's true. Believe in yourself and just keep at it.
All right, everybody. Ashleigh Banfield, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, listen, there's nothing I appreciate more than a kid like you, Jackson, who cares a lot, works hard, and doesn't just do it because it's what's expected at school. It's that you really have a passion. So I expect to see you on the air on one of the big 3 or 4 networks in just a few years.
Oh, thank you.
No, thanks to you for having me. I appreciate it.
You can watch Banfield on NewsNation weeknights at 10.